time. All right. Oh, whew, man. I'll tell you what. I am full of zip and some sass. Why? Because we're going to get ready to listen to a little bit of Bluegrass here on our 420 edition of Galaxy Jams Reacts. I am EJ hanging out with you. We're getting ready to listen to music and sit around and listen to hand-picked and fan-picked music because that's what we do here on the show. Over here is my good friend Mike.
So excited to be here.
And our other good friend Adam.
What up, Jam fam?
And our special guest and new friend, Phil Chorney of Charm City Bluegrass Festival and the CEO of Baltimore Management Agency. Phil.
What up, what up?
How
y'all doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fine, guys. Doing fine. Stoked to listen to some music on the holiday and spend it with y'all.
Yeah,
Awesome.
This is a great day because we're recording this on Girdle 420. So I hope you guys are lit. And, Phil, you're honestly really so fascinating. You throw one of the most storied bluegrass festivals on the East Coast. You also manage some great bands. And then you're also the vice president of a great advertisement agency. You know, you have like a lot of hats and you wear them all really well. There's just so many things that we need to ask you, Phil.
So many
many. But the first thing that we need to know, Phil Chorney, is what did you have for lunch today?
That's a great question. So I've been on a fitness kick the last 5 months, tracking my macros, hitting the gym every day, training for a 10K trail run. So for lunch today, I had a protein bar and a protein shake. And it's not very exciting. It's kind of lame, but it fits within what I'm doing for my training regimen and my health.
What kind of protein shake was that? Like, what exactly did you put in that shake, Phil?
So it's a Fairlife vanilla protein shake, and I mix it typically with some just straight up black coffee, and I kind of cut it that way a little bit, and then I had a maple donut glazed protein bar from one protein bar company. I guess that's what they're called. I don't know. It's one of the only protein bars I actually really like.
That sounds yummy, man.
Maple
and
donut.
Congratulations on your fitness journey. I've been there. I used to have MyFitnessPal on my phone and would count like everything I would eat. I would count it. So I know that game.
Yeah, I've lost 150 pounds in the last 3 years.
Holy shit.
Hell,
that's amazing.
Yeah, dude. Let's go. To celebrate, I'm going to send you some pizza.
Thanks.
Adam, what did you have for lunch today?
All right. Today, a little bit
here it
different
goes.
than usual. Way off the beaten path for me normally. So I had a Starbucks triple shot for breakfast, followed it up with a watermelon Red Bull, and then ate nothing all day until right before the show where I went out to dinner with my family and fiance, almost forgetting that we were going to live stream. We went out to Mexican.
Oh.
Had some carne asada fries with some processed frozen shoestring style fries.
Right.
Some rich carne asada layered on top.
Ooh.
Maybe house-made guacamole, maybe store-bought guacamole. Not entirely sure. A little crema. And then a big-ass, it was like a medium, but it was still a big-ass strawberry skinny margarita.
Wow.
That's cute. So cute.
Yeah.
And then I had most of that margarita. I was like, oh, fuck. They're not measuring their tequila. And so, yeah, here we are.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Actually, when Adam walked into the office building, he looked at me and he's like, I was just drinking. EJ, what did you have for lunch?
Well, I went to the Italian restaurant. And what did I get, Mike?
You got a cheeseburger.
I did.
At the Italian restaurant.
You monster.
I did do it again.
You know,
It's good. It's
Who
a good
hurt
smash
you?
burger.
Some people just like to watch the world burn.
It's just a good smash burger. I mean, they have good other food too, but their burgers are pretty good.
That sounds good.
I mean, $8. It's not bad.
It's not bad.
Not bad at all. You should try one time.
Let's go together.
No, I don't eat. I don't eat with you.
What
did you have?
I had a Greek salad with some grilled chicken on it.
Nice.
Nice. Where'd you get that?
From Orpax, like that local Greek.
Orpax, there's
Yeah,
your place.
I've pretty
love
much been
Orpax.
eating the same meal like 4 times a week for lunch because it's quick, it's easy, it's yummy, it's healthy, and like it means I can eat like total garbage. You
But
know,
Orpax
the
is
rest of
dope,
the day.
dude. They're-
What?
They're a staple. Orpax is dope.
Yeah, it's yummy. You see, Phil, we just want to see what's powering this conversation.
What's fueling it?
Yeah, we want to see what's keeping this great ideas going, you know? And we want to know from the chat what kind of lunch you guys had. So
Yeah.
let us know or send us an email with what you had for lunch today. We love talking about food.
We do.
And so speaking of food, we have some great music ahead of us.
To
Wait a
fill the
minute.
soul with
Before we
food.
move on,
Yeah.
are we literally asking anyone and everyone
Yeah.
out there to email us what they had for lunch today?
Yeah.
Well, but we don't give the email address. See, that's the thing.
No, go on our website and just
Oh
send
yeah,
it.
yeah. If you go on our website, you can.
Yeah,
You
I
can fill
want
out
to
our
know.
contact
You know?
form.
We should just do a
Let us know.
show where we do a tier list of just all of the lunches that people email to this very specific episode.
We can
Let's
show
go.
them. We can show them in the on the screen.
There we
Let's
go.
go, dude.
Take pictures.
Yeah, and
Anyway.
you know, any poo. You know, we got some great music ahead of us.
We
So,
do.
EJ, why don't you take us away?
We're gonna start off with a song that is one of the bands that I'm getting ready to mention, fans' favorite, the Beatles. So the Beatles, I'm gonna be checking out them, Phil, and of course, I'm sure you know of the Beatles.
I do know the Beatles. I have a 13-year-old cockapoo dog named Penny Lane.
Oh,
Yeah, and during I had a pandemic puppy that we adopted and we ended up giving her away to another family. But her name was Abbey Road.
there you go.
And a little fun fact: I don't know if you guys knew this about me, but one of the first jobs in the music business I had was managing a Beatles reggae tribute act called Yellow Dub Marine.
Nice.
Oh,
I
I've
love the
heard
name
of
that,
them
too.
actually, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
did you like did your parents and your family like you grew up with them, or did you discover them like in college and later in life? Like, how did that go?
My dad's a huge music fan. Allman Brothers, The Dead, The Beatles, Zeppelin, Pink Floyd. So it kind of all. I grew up listening to it in the house all the time.
Wait, say that again. What was the theme of your band?
The band that I managed.
Yeah.
the reggae.
Yeah, it was a Beatles reggae tribute. They redid Abbey Road as Abbey Dub, and then released a number of all the number ones in a reggae dub variation.
See, you
Wow.
said Yellow Dub Marine, so I imagine like a bunch of dubstep versions of like Beatles songs. I was
Yeah.
like, that kind of would be also dope in a very different
Yeah.
universe.
Well, dub is like
Yeah, this is more. Yeah, dub is a Jamaica. Like in Jamaica,
Yeah.
they don't think it as like the same way.
it's
Right.
like a mixing technique almost. You know, it's more like a
Oh, yeah.
Reverby.
post thing than like because like reggae's the music,
Mhm.
but dubbing it is like what you do to it.
But that would
right?
be the reasonable reaction. But of course, my brain went straight to Skrillex, so that's how that works.
yeah, nice.
But that's really cool.
I'm sure someone's did that, right?
I've got to check them out.
I
Yeah,
mean,
definitely.
It's kind of weird with like when I was on my honeymoon in Jamaica, and they play like Jamaican radio, and one of their songs from Abbey.
He's cut off. We can't hear you.
You
Yeah.
hear us, Phil?
No.
No, he can't hear us.
Let's see.
Let's see.
I'm just doing this to check.
Check. Yeah, it should be giving it to us, right?
Yeah.
Say we can see you, but we can't hear you. It may be his headphones cut out. Because that's the only thing that makes sense. Did he put yikes?
Yeah. We are typing to him. People in the chat just want to let you know.
Yeah, we're typing to him. We're figuring it out. Someone in the chat put what they had to eat.
I know.
right?
Talk about it.
Yeah, like pull it back up. Let's see.
I
I
What,
think it might be because his picture looks good,
No,
right?
it just went away.
Craig Chadwick.
Well, I think he's checking his own thing. He's let's see. I think it might be his headphones, right?
I don't
so
know.
Craig Chadwick. What do you have? A hoagie, some Fritos.
Where's that? Yeah, here it is.
You guys
Oh,
Oh.
there we go.
now?
Yeah,
I
I
can
think
hear
it
you
was
now.
your
There it is.
headphones.
I think I
Mm,
bumped
No.
the wrong thing. Try this
it's starting to.
just so we feel about our lives. How's that?
Seems to be better.
Is that better?
I think so.
We're
But
hearing
we can
ourselves.
hear our
Oh.
echo now. Are we
Yeah, I
coming out
know.
of
Hold on,
speakers?
Yeah, I'm switching different headphones. Give me
Okay.
a sec.
Okay, cool.
We'll
I
give
think
him a
that's
second.
what it is.
We'll give him a second.
Yeah, because I was
Yeah,
like,
hang tight.
whenever the picture looks good, but then the audio just clips out like that, it's always the headphones.
Yeah. I'm switching headphones. Hold on.
That's okay. Craig Chadwick
did
had a
bring them back
hoagie.
He just said that.
Oh, nice.
Some Fritos, Cara Cara
Oh,
orange.
he already said that?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm stoned. It's 4:20. Let's go.
Like how you're fueling your
Yeah.
day, Craig Chadwick.
Yeah. Robotrix, we will end up doing that song at some point. We have that on our
Is
list.
that better?
It
Is
seems
that
to-
better at all?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try this.
It's a
This is
little
my backup
delayed,
set.
but yeah.
All right, cool. So I think we got enough. We can just jump right into the song, right? So EJ, why don't you
Let's do
introduce
it.
it?
All right, we're going to go ahead and check out the Beatles from the White Album 1968. This song was inspired through what happened with this. So Mia Farrow, do you know who Mia Farrow is?
No.
All right, she's an actress. She was married to Woody Allen, and she's done a lot of movies back in the day. She inspired such men as Andre Previn, Frank Sinatra, and Woody Allen. And her sister Prudence left her mark on John Lennon. According to Nancy DeHara's book, All You Need Is Love, Prudence met the Beatles on a significant spiritual retreat in India, which she attended with Mia. And when Prudence was there, she started suffering from depression, confined herself into a room, and John Lennon wrote the song hoping to cheer her up, and it did.
Nice.
So this
Power
song,
of music.
Yeah. This song is called Dear Prudence, and we're going to listen to it here on Galaxy Jams Reacts. Check it out. So when Mark, listen to the bass line. Everything's great in it, but the bass line is choice.
Dear Prudence, won't you come out to play? Dear Prudence, greet the brand new day. The sun is up, the sky is blue, it's beautiful, and so are you.
You're right. Very interesting bass line.
There's a lot of subtlety as well in the background. Can't help but smile when this,
Oh, yeah.
when you just that intro. Especially if you've seen like Across the Universe or something, like it's very visceral.
Right.
See the sunny sky. The wind is low, the birds will sing that you are part of everything, dear Prudence. Won't you open up your eyes?
Agreed, Chadwick.
Look around,
Definitely has that kind of Indian vibe with some of the ways that the instrumentation's used.
look around, round, round.
That George Harrison soloing in the background that's layered and it's like just slightly less volumatic adds such a cool depth to it.
All right, Mike, how does that make you feel?
I just like whenever I hear the Beatles and all of them are singing together, it just has this like sheen to it, which
Mhm.
sounds so like psychedelic and like warbly almost. And I really like their voices together. And the more I listen to the Beatles, the more I realize that they're so good at like sounding so different, you know, like in
Mhm.
different recordings, like the fundamentals of like how they're expressing their voice and the attack and, you know, things like that. Like, that's really my takeaway when I'm listening to more and more of the Beatles on the show is like all the vocals, you know.
Oh, they were
It's
masters.
really great the way it's individual and together. It's you know, really interesting the way they're able to make it sound like they can sound like, you know, like psychedelic and angry or like Disney and happy and like they're doing it on purpose.
Yeah,
Couldn't
like
agree
original
more.
Brown Band.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, I of all the artists that we keep approaching on the show, I feel like I get more and more from the Beatles every time, especially as someone that just didn't interact with the Beatles growing up in any meaningful capacity, but like just their like I've worked in restaurants, being a starving artist for a long time, and there are some people that just get flavors and like they just throw crazy shit together, and like you're like, how should this work? And it does, and like there's some people that go to culinary school for years and years and years, and they're proficient and they're good, but they just don't have that gift of being able to just like wing it and make some beauty. And I feel like the Beatles do that. Like they bring together things frequently that even all these years later, things that and flavors and tones and styles and energy levels that shouldn't seem to go together, but then marry into something that's wholly new. The other thing that kind of strikes me with this song is like just like the story with Prudence and John Lennon. It makes me think of the concept of Sonder, just like that idea that everyone around us has robust human experience and like this huge depth, and like we're walking past people that are anxious and depressed all the time, and like we just don't think anything of it. And like they wrote this incredibly deep human moment like around this very specific experience that she was having at that point in time, and that's dope because it like there's a certain gravitas to the song that's just wild.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine having this song written for you to get you to come out of your yurt or whatever you're
for
in?
real though? Like it just feels like there's so much like this infinite depth going on, but it's in response to this very human normal moment.
Yeah, Phil, what does this make you think about when you listen to it?
I just can't help but smile. Like I said, it's like if you've seen Across the Universe, that scene of her locked in the bathroom perfectly plays with what you're talking about with how why this the energy of this song. I instantly go to that. I mean, I've seen that movie countless times over the years, and as a fan of the Beatles, it's an easy way to connect visually with the song.
Oh yeah, I've
I know
always
it's not
loved
like
this song.
super exciting, but yeah, it's fantastic.
I've always loved this. It's always been like one of those like like Here Comes the Sun, and some of the other ones that kind of gives you that same feeling of just like opening up and just kind of enjoying your life and enjoying the world, and then don't be stuck in your own head, kind of thing.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, Adam, Craig Chadwick in the chat said that the resonance in the guitar and the wah in the bass both make me think of Indian music. It makes the Beatles just sound so like worldly, and from the world that they're in, where like it's not that like no one that was in their arena was taking those elements and adding it to their music.
Yeah. I just absolutely adore the song, and just again layers of the different sounds that they use. One thing that they like you're talking about, one thing they were always really good at is once they found something through their travels or whatever they were doing, taking a holiday, and they heard a different type of music, they always incorporated that into their next album. And really, really experimented in the studio.
But it's not like in a gimmicky way, like where I feel like, in response to kind of what's going on with TikTok right now, like people are writing things with like a cheeky lyric. It's supposed to be punny, and then like it's become a formula that
people do it like ironically or like cynically.
Well, like they know it fuels the algorithm. It's like, oh, because people are doing this, so I'm going to start doing this. I've discovered that this works, or this is a unique thing that I can incorporate. I don't feel like the Beatles at any point are incorporating something because it gives them an edge. I feel like they incorporate something meaningfully, purposefully because they want to.
Absolutely. Let's get back into it.
Dear Bruce, let me see you smile. Dear Bruce, like a little child. The clouds will be a daisy chain, so let me see you smile again, dear Prudence. Won't you let me see you smile, dear Prudence? Won't you come out to play?
Like how the drums get busy.
Dear
Whoa, that sounds cool. Holy crap.
Drink a brand new day. The sun is up, the sky is blue.
Nice.
It's beautiful.
I don't think I ever heard this song.
So are you.
If so, I never paid it this much attention. You're right, Phil, though. It's just a smile of a song.
Yeah. How can you not?
I wish I just heard this song for the first time. I envy you.
Yeah, there was like this space like it was almost like this like I don't know how to say it, like keyboard like space noise, but obviously it wasn't made like
It
that.
was a piano, yeah, real high up on the keys.
Oh my god, man! That was probably my favorite part
It was
because it was
cool.
just kind of like dancing on your brain. You're like, oh.
Awesome. Well, I'm very glad to introduce that to you, Mike, and very glad to share it with all the people who love that song.
Can I just say that I'm so excited to exist in a world where someone has not heard that song. That is
Right?
mind-blowingly cool.
Nice. Yeah, I never really listened to a lot of the Beatles, you know. I never really listened to a lot of like Led Zeppelin, and I honestly never listened to a lot of Pink Floyd, I guess like Dark Side of the Moon, but you know, I never like dove in to the treasure trove that each of those organizations, you know, like the legacy I haven't, you know, until we're doing it on the show, which is why I like it so much.
Right, and you know, same here. Like for my family, my dad's deaf in one ear. We didn't listen to a lot of music growing up. Like he listened to a lot of oldies when we did listen to music. But you know, I'm the kind of person, I get what I listen to from my communities of people around me, and it's just like we were never into. It was much more high energy emo punk, like harder rock stuff. So like it's just missing from my cultural literacy. So
Yeah. Well, welcome.
Yeah. Let's go.
So I get
Go check
to
it
go
out.
on this journey with you, Phil.
Yeah, hey, you know, it's funny. I grew up in an environment where, you know, I listened to that stuff, but really when I was, you know, I graduated high school in the early 2000s, and all of my friends' older brothers were fish heads, and they traveled around the country following fish, and so that's all we listened to when we were getting, you know, we're 15, 14 years old, getting driven around by our buddies, like brothers, and all they have is fish tapes in the car. You know,
Oh, yeah.
and that
Right.
systematically shapes the rest of your existence, right? So I was already
Definitely.
predisposed
Mm-hmm.
to like that, and you know, so jumping from Floyd and Zeppelin and Allman Brothers to Fish, and where I am in, you know, listening in jam bands or whatever you want to call them these days, like it's a very, very easy thing to do.
But you know what's cool about that is like from, you know, your early music tastes, you were trained to be a very active listener and a very active fan and be very engaged with what the bands are doing, which I think is like it's that's awesome. You're set up for success from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I you know, success is defined in many different ways, right? People have success in all genres of music. It's really about the passion for the music that is the success.
Yeah, and a passion for the audience too. You know, you want to, and I just think that the music that's around your coming of age experience is truly what brings, you know, the nostalgia never goes away. You know, so like whatever it just happens to be around you, like that's what you're always going to associate with, you know, who you are.
Yeah. And speaking of Fish,
100%.
Speaking of Fish, have you ever heard Fish doing the whole White album by the Beatles? It was a great show. It was one of their New Year's Eve shows. They did that, or was it
Halloween?
No, Halloween shows. They did the whole entire double album. It was great.
That's dope.
It was a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
My favorite one is when they did "Waiting for Columbus" by Little Feat.
Oh yeah, that was
they
good
did
too.
that. That was one of my favorite of all time albums.
Nice. We got Julian Marquette in the chat who says hello from France.
Yeah.
Hey, Julian,
What up?
welcome to the show. Thanks so much for checking us out. We really, really appreciate it.
Salut.
And
Can you ask him where in France he's from?
yeah, Julian, where are you? Where in France are you from?
We'll wait for a minute. He'll pop that in there.
Yeah. And let us know in the YouTube comments what you like about this song and what Beatles song we should listen to next. We want to, know what you guys want us to listen to. We love listening to hand-picked and fan-picked music together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I once got lost in parts of France back in like 2005, 2006 after jamming the Jam. A buddy of mine followed Keller Williams. He and I followed Keller around Europe, and we ran out of money in France and Switzerland and got lost in France. It was wild.
Wow. Awesome. All right. Well, let's go into our next song. Why don't we, Mike?
Yeah, let's do it. So you manage the Magic Beans.
I do.
How'd that happen?
There's a guy named Jonathan Schwartz who is some know him as the General of Jam. He's a Fish Radio guy. He and I met at the Grammys a number of years ago when I was managing another bluegrass band who was Grammy nominated, Frank Sullivan and Dirty Kitchen, and he manages Southern Avenue. We connected at the Grammys, and we've been trying to sync up for a couple of years to find a project that we really wanted to work on together. And Magic Bean, opportunity to work the Beans came to the table, and it has been freaking awesome. Those guys are just good humans. They're incredible musicians, and it's an honor, really. I mean, I'm lucky that I get to work with them every day. So yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
When you said like the opportunity came to the table, be a little bit more specific. Like, did you meet them and then like you're seeing them and then they, have like a position open, or like how did you meet them and that relationship went from like, I like you guys to like, I'm like going to have like this professional relationship with you. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, so I had been checking, there's a lot of bands over the years I keep tabs on. I kind of see what they're doing in their career. If I'm interested in the music, I pay closer attention. And I know through some back channels, they've been looking for, maybe some management work. And Schwartz and I made the connection with them. And, I went up to Philly, saw them at a show in Philly. Then I drove up to New York City, sat down with them after a podcast type thing they were doing with Relics magazine. And, we had some pizza and just, kind of felt the vibe and continued conversations and looked at, the business analytics and decided that I think, on both ends, it's a good fit. And here we are. It's just, it's really cool to work with people who are passionate about what they do. And that really fuels me too. It's a give and take in that relationship.
Well, and that's exactly right. I feel like it goes both ways, being in an independent band, signed to a small label at one point, and we're always trying to climb for that next ladder level, and then so many people that have reached levels of success that we've been trying to pursue. We say it goes both ways. You want to, the people that manage you, book you, wrangle you, do all of the business side to help your band succeed. It's much better to have the person that's passionate and the person that really wants to be in that room with you versus that person that like might work for the biggest company and work with some of the largest artists, but you're like one of 15 that they're managing or whatever.
Oh, well, yeah.
So I'm sure that's really fucking amazing for them too.
And I think that a good band, manages the manager as much as the manager manages them. It's like a symbiotic relationship that they each try and climb the mountain together.
Very much so. I mean, that's the nature of the game. If you don't have, I can 8 times out of 10, I know what the answer is going to be before I ask the question, and it's a verification to make sure there's a level of comfort there between where my head goes, where their head goes, and ultimately where we need to go as a business decision.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Well, thanks so much for going into detail about that. So we're going to be listening to the Magic Beans from their 2018 album Casino Cabaret. This is live at Cervantes Ballroom in 2018, which was an album release show.
Cool.
So we're here with Phil Chorney listening to the Magic Beans with their song Hanky Panky right here on Galaxy Jams Reacts.
Love that cover.
Look at that crowd.
Yeah, cash money, baby.
Oh, they're
Cash
shooting
money.
cards at the audience. It's so good.
Good mix.
Yeah, it's mixed really well. I mean, Casey Russell, though, on the keyboards, he's probably one of my more favorite keyboard players, that's in that genre. He's truly doing such a good job.
I actually am pretty confident Scott mixed all this and synced all the audio. He usually does that. He does all the post-production work of all the music for Nugs, Net, and all that for the band.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's fun, light, funky.
It's so much fun to watch this with you guys, for the record, because I wasn't with the band at this time, right? This is before me, so I'm seeing this, for the first time with you guys. I've obviously dug in their stuff, but it's fun to relive this experience with y'all.
Awesome, yeah, love it.
Oh, nice. They're having such a good time up there.
You can tell this would be a dope band to hang out with.
Oh, dude, they're the best. They stay for days on end at my house, and we just kick it, They're good dudes.
Hell yeah. Yeah, get it.
Yeah, Chris Duffy doing a good job digging in there.
Bass is getting it too.
Woo! Yeah.
The song gets you wiggling, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's fun, dude. They're really good at staying at cruising altitude. You know what I mean? They're really good at just keeping that same level going.
That's a cool guitar line. In the chat, Julian says, Super James Brown vibe.
Thumbs up.
Agreed.
Like jazzy funk.
It's got a really good pocket to it. You can kind of hang out there all day and just chill.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Oh yeah, the shot, the fan shot, there it is. Yeah, boys. Ah, yeah.
You gotta.
Nice.
Nice. We got some
Nice.
feedback in the chat here.
Yeah.
Ford's No there in the chat says that is a sweet bass line. Definitely agree with that. Craig Chadwick in the chat says nice funky jams, very listenable, even while baked.
Ooh, makes it even better while baked.
Nice.
At
And
420
And Julian
degrees.
Marquette says that the sound production is great. I agree. And I
Yeah.
think that one thing that I saw Scott do was make a video on Instagram showing the process of, finishing the show, sitting backstage and mixing it, and then uploading it to the different servers of the different hosting sites that they use for their music. That's like a whole nother job.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, he works his ass off. He is one of the. I will say this. I've worked with a lot of bands over the years. He is one of the hardest working guys I've seen. Not just on stage and writing songs, but in every aspect of the business. It's wow. My mind gets blown daily by his intensity, his passion. It's unbelievable.
Nice. All right. Well, it was really, really nice to see them. And so they're playing at Charm City Bluegrass Festival this year, right?
They are, yeah. They're going to play two nights. The night one, they're going to be holding down kind of the end of the party on the Friday, which is sold out, which is going to be super cool. And then Saturday, right before the Impish String Dusters, they're going to bring, I think, more of what they would consider their string bean set, maybe a little more acoustic-y stuff, but still with plenty of vibe to it.
That's a great
give
pun.
it a little. Yeah, totally is.
That's
They're
amazing.
good. Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
that's great. I really like when a band can flex like that, and it's cool when, of course, like every time you see a band, you like where it's like the same shiny package, but it's nice where, they can give up something else to, bring something new to the table, especially to, mold themselves into the aesthetic that your event demands.
Yeah.
Very,
Awesome.
very cool. Well, we're up next. We got a very special pick by our very
Ooh.
special guest, Phil Chorney, right after this.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, high women. By the high women on 420, when we're all high and whatnot. Yes. Bring it.
Perfect mixture. What did you hear of the
Yeah,
High
right.
Women?
I first heard of the High Women. I mean, I've been a big Jason Isbell fan for a while, and big fan of Brandy Carlisle's, and they formed this supergroup with Amanda Shires, and man, you'll hear it. It's just there's something so incredibly special about this band, especially because if you know what they're playing on, which is the Highwaymen, which was Waylon Jennings and
Johnny Cash.
Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash, right? And it's Chris Christopherson, right?
Yeah.
I got into that early on in my musical journey. I'm going to be the American song and American songwriters and that sort of thing. And then hearing them do this song, it gives you chills, especially like when you compare the two songs and the level of musicianship and those guys versus these gals. These gals blow it away. I mean, I get shivers listening to this song every single time. And then Yola coming in with her vocal is just, this is the best of what music is right now in the Americana songwriter, call it alt country, whatever the hell you want to call it, world. This is the best of the best of the best. I mean, this is the peak of that mountain, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the band jokingly refers to this collaboration as a pirate ship experience, and they said that they see the project as an incubator project that highlights mentorship and support of fellow women artists.
Hell yeah.
Which is really cool. And I know that they're not women, but when I read that, it reminds me a lot of Wolfpack, because I feel like Wolfpack is like a collective, but they have other artists like Antoine Stanley that's coming in, and a lot of careers were made from that band as well.
Definitely.
So I like it when bands, can be open projects like Snarky Puppy, where it's like a rotating cast of people alongside a staple of regulars. And I think that that's like really, really an exciting take on it.
All right, well, let's check it out. This is was performed in 2019 at the 2021 Americana Music Honors and Awards Show.
Is this a first listen for you guys?
Yeah,
Have you guys
I never even heard of any of this.
Haven't heard this. We'll check it out. It's the High Women from the album The High Women. This song is called High Women. Let's get it.
I was a high woman and a mother from my year. For my children, I did what I had to do. My family left Honduras when they killed the Sandinistas. We followed a coyote through the dust of Mexico. And every one of them, except for me, survived. But I am still alive. I was a healer. I was gifted as a girl. I laid hands upon the world. Someone saw me sleeping naked in the noon sun. I heard a witchcraft in the whispers, and I knew my time had come. The bastards hung me at the Salem gallows hill, but I am living still.
All their outfits are just Fuego.
Hell yeah.
I'm getting chills.
I know.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
Yeah. Especially in the backdrop of, what's going on in our country and our world, like listening to these women sing this truth, man, blows my mind.
And my heart broke for all the world. But teaching was righteous for a girl. In the summer I was baptized in the mighty Colorado. In the winter I heard the hounds and I knew I had been found. And in my Savior's name I laid my weapons down. But I'm still around. We are the highwaymen. We sing a story still untold. We carry the songs you can only hold. We are the daughters of the silent generation. You send our hearts to die alone in foreign nations. They may return to us as tiny drops of rain, but we will still remain.
This is really powerful. I really like the
It's-
message of the song. It's crazy.
Yeah. Imagine being in the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville, Tennessee,
Mm-hmm.
with the, in they call it the church, right? It's the
Right.
It's, if you've ever been there, there's an energy about the place. I could only imagine sitting there seeing this live with that energy radiating. It would be mind blowing.
Wow. Yeah. What do you think, Mike?
Listening to this reminds me of sitting with a warm blanket. I got a cup of hot cocoa. There's a fire crackling behind me, and I know that I'm home. It makes me feel so relaxed. And it's like at the same time, though, my mind is like taken to like the world of fantasy and like where anything's possible. And so, in one sense, it's really grounding, but the other sense, it's really just freeing at the same time, like what they're saying. And, it has so many roots, but then there's just so much potential out there. And, I can truly see, the stars when I'm listening to this.
Mm-hmm.
And Julian Marquette says that this reminds me of old Americana bands in the 60s, like at Woodstock with a lot of singers.
Mm-hmm.
And Ford's Know There says that he loves Brandy and that this is very powerful.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, Phil, I feel like this is like the platonic form of Americana and bluegrass in a lot of ways. Like, you're just seeing like this beautiful, like, sculptural perfection version of like all those things kind of distilled to their most simple forms. And I love I keep forgetting to focus in on what the message of the song is and focus in on the lyrics. So I'm just letting what it is wash over me and just kind of getting bits and pieces of like some of the lyrical points. And what I love about these genres is just that kind of ancestral wisdom. And like that, and like it's that down home simple truth of humanity that is rooted in something that's always been there in the land, and we're just uncovering it from having lived through it and presenting it to each other. And there's something that few, I've done a little bluegrass training. I'm a fiddle player myself, and like, it's its own flavor, it's its own world, it's its own thing. And there's something about like the darkness of the woods of Tennessee and Virginia, and like the music that comes out of like the Appalachian areas, and there's just that kind of wisdom that's kind of written into it, and we all can kind of relate to it on a primordial level, and it's fucking dope.
It's like music from the earth.
Yes,
from the ground.
Yeah,
itself.
exactly. But not in like a hippy dippy type of way, but in like a rock solid,
like the roots
of
music way.
And this is not an original. This is essentially a cover that they've adapted for themselves. A cover of the Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson, Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash version of the song.
All
And
right,
the
that's
fact
cool.
that so they've been able to adapt it to them as a play on and an homage to them, but while embracing their full power of the song.
Right.
It's mind blowing.
And like any true professionals, it feels like they own it through and through.
100%.
100%. Let's get back into it. I want to hear more.
They were born to do this.
We'll come back again and again and again and again. We'll come back again and again.
Whew, Yola playing that sick layered vocal.
Yeah, and the soft violin on top, almost adding like an uneasiness to it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ah, that was
What
great.
a beautiful theater, too.
Yeah, truly.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Phil. That was dope.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
I'm glad you liked it.
Great first pick. Thank you so much for bringing that to the show, Phil. We really, really appreciate it. And Ford's note there
Yeah.
in the chat says that they really enjoyed your backstory, about what you said about the song. So thanks so much for sharing
Oh,
that with
yeah.
us, Phil. We really, really appreciate that. All right. So why don't we go to the next one?
All
EJ, why don't you tell us all about it?
Well, this is another wonderful female singer, Stevie Nicks. How familiar are you with Stevie Nicks, Phil?
I'm very familiar. The Highwomen also do a cover of the Fleetwood Mac staple Changes, but I saw Stevie Nicks with Tom Petty at Bonnaroo in 2006, 2007.
Ooh, that was
Hell
great.
yeah.
Yeah, it was one of the it was radio. I think Radiohead was on right before, and then it was Tom Petty, and then Stevie Nicks came out. And
Right.
in all honesty, I was partying super hard that night, and it was one of the. My mind was just all over the place. It was a fantastic experience. It was awesome. I was like, "Is that really Stevie Nicks? Holy crap, that's Stevie! Oh my God, that's Stevie Nicks!" So
Yeah, she is definitely a queen of rock and roll. This is a pretty cool song, Stop Dragging My Heart Around, which I always thought it was different artists when I was growing up that did it. But I came across this song because the Chipmunks covered it, and that's when I first heard it when I was a kid.
I'm actually pretty confident that Tom Petty played this at Bonnaroo, and Stevie Nicks came out and sang it with him.
Like that.
Yeah, well, he wrote the song for her.
So then, yeah, that definitely happened, and that
Yeah.
was not a figment of my hallucinating imagination.
Was not. So she wanted him to write her a song. He wrote a song, and then they went and recorded it, and she was like, well, if he really loved it, and she was like, if you love it that much, put it on your album. And so they put that on his album, and then he sat around and he wrote this other song for her, Stop Dragging My Heart Around, and they she went in and recorded it with him. And the song is about a couple of with a complicated relationship. She wants to get rid of him, but he has a hold on her heart. And when she tells him to stop dragging her heart around, he explains that he's just trying to protect her, as you need someone looking after you. So many of the songs Stevie Nicks has sung over the years involve hearts in different states of breaking, and many are about her intimate relationships, written either by her or her Fleetwood Mac bandmate and soulmate Lindsey Buckingham. This song is one of those few that she could sing without dealing with the emotional baggage behind it, 'cause she used to have a lot of problems with that. And it has nothing to do with her personally. So she absolutely loved playing the song out. It turned into be a huge hit for both Stevie Nicks and Tom Petty. So let's check it out. Here's Stevie Nicks, Stop Dragging My Heart Around on Galaxy Jams Reacts.
Who's that drummer?
He's one of the Heartbreakers, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
Baby, you come knocking on my front door. Same old line you used to use before.
Look how hot that
You
microphone is.
with Stevie Nicks when she starts to sing.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
her,
One of
her
those
voice is
voices.
amazing.
Soul Trainers looking at you.
Love how it sucks back in that nice little guitar line. Perfect.
Start to think about what you wanted. It's hard to think about what you lost. This doesn't have to be the big get even. This doesn't have to be anything at all.
I know you really wanna tell me goodbye. I know you really wanna be under. Baby, you could never look me in the eye. Yeah, you buckle with the weight of the world. Stop dragging my heart around.
Those harmonies are fire.
Ooh, that was a nice change.
We should all light one up for Tom Petty today, you know?
Let's go.
Everyone light
Like
one up at
smoking.
home.
Yep.
I love deliberate little lines from guitars. It's perfect.
Ain't got nothing better to do. Make a meal of some bright-eyed kid. You need someone looking after you.
I know you really wanna tell me goodbye.
Their voices are so heavenly together.
Really wanna be under. Baby, you could never look me in the eye. Yeah, you buckle
It's peanut butter and jelly, man.
Stop dragging my
Man, yeah, that's a great
I don't know if you
combo of
can
vocals.
I don't know if you guys can see me, but I'm like rocking out to this
Oh,
song.
Dude, you and EJ did the same hits at the same time. So when you watch the video, you guys are like rocking out together. It's so great.
This song has such visceral memories for me, sitting like in my work truck in college listening to classic rock radio because they didn't
Uh-huh.
have anything else. It was that or WXPN in Philadelphia with like the only two stations I could get, and this would come on like every other hour. Like, you know how some classic rock stations will like replay songs you'll hear
Yeah.
like 6 times a day?
Yes,
This was one of them.
absolutely.
Yeah, nice. Julian Marquette in the chat says that music has nothing to do with the general. It's all the genres that are coming from the same roots. Music is, if you think about it, just touching your heart and your soul.
Mhm.
And, I definitely agree with that. At the end of the day, musicians, it's like their passion, it's like their bodies are like conduits to transfer their passion and their energy, to whoever happens to be around them at that point, right?
Mhm.
So I feel like watching them do this, Stevie Nicks and Tom Petty, it's apparent just how perfect they are at like fine tuning the energy that they want to project, effortlessly, into the tools, their voice and the microphone. And it's just, they seem so easy, easy for them to just create, what we just witnessed.
I mean, you're exactly right. And artists are constantly repurposing the same common soul in a lot of different ways and in a lot of different flavors. And it is always striking to me when a song from a different generation touches me in a very intimate place in my spirit. And like, y'all know I'm an emo kid, and I love like that kind of wistful, like burying myself in my sadness and reveling in it, and like reveling in the things that hurt, and just being like, that's what it feels to be alive. And like, and if I was contemporary to the song, I would be all about it. Like, it scratches that same itch that all of my favorite bands of, like the pain of living and like the reveling in the things that are wrong with your life, because that is proof that you exist. And it's great. Like, and and it's a bop too. What's not to like?
Yeah, I really think that the one thing when I listen to songs like this, especially like what a great line, "Stop dragging my heart around," right?
Yeah.
Like, who doesn't know what that feels like? And that's the other thing about music too. It a lot of the times lets you know other people out there go through the same experiences that you go through. And that's why you can relate to songs, and that's what some of the best songs are, very relatable songs, right?
Yes.
And when you have great lyrics like that and great singing like that, it's just a great formula for a song that will stick around forever and will stick within your psyche.
Oh yeah.
Wonderful. I love this song.
What about
To
you?
make you think about when you're listening and watching that.
Honestly, it for me personally, because I've had that personal interaction with that song live, it takes me back to that place and time. Almost 20 years ago at this point. A little less, maybe call it 17 years, but it's that moment in time at a different point in my life, under very different circumstances. And this is, I'll be very blunt. I go to a lot of shows, see a lot of music. My relationship with music, let's just put it that way, has changed over years. This is back when I was like green and hungry all the time. Like, does that make sense?
Oh, yeah,
Do you understand? Like I work in the music, I work in music. So my personal enjoyment of music is much different than it was 17 years ago.
Yeah.
And that moment in time, I can think back to exactly how I was feeling about music at that very instant of my life, down to a meter of that song.
It's like
Wild.
it's like reverting back to a previous save state on your PC or something.
100%. I mean, the way things have changed in 17 years for me personally, I'm a different human almost at times, and that it's I can't really describe it. And it's also one of those things you kind of had to be there and experiencing like what I was experiencing in that moment. To my brain's like, I can see smoke billowing out of my ears right now. If that makes any sense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like when you hear the ice cream jingle,
Right.
the ice cream truck, and then you're not, all you're thinking about is like that feeling when you're a kid that you want to chase after the ice cream truck, and that feeling. It's hard to to shake. And I think that also with what you were saying, Phil, it was making me think that like I mentioned this on the show sometimes, but I feel like it's easy to be like a bitter, jaded vet. When you're listening to music and you're like, I like what I like, and that's it. And that's why I always chase music that really touches me. And even like the older I get, like the more I chase after it. And that's like whenever I find a band that I like, I'm like, oh, like I'm gonna put in the work, and I'm gonna dive in, and I'm gonna listen to all their music, and I'm gonna get everything I can out of it. You know what I mean? Because how many more am I gonna get in my life?
Right.
Absolutely.
And to your point, Phil, like I don't think there's anything else in my life that, like, I mean, they say that the sense of smell sometimes will like immediately transport you back to, you're 6 years old and it's a summer day and you're running through your backyard or something like that. Other than some aspects of that, like music is that best conduit for me to revert back to like a save state in my brain and to remember what it was like to exist in my own body at a certain point in time. And I don't know, it is a very special experience that we get experienced by being in this realm that we delve in every day.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly
Well
true.
put.
Nice. Well, that was a really, really good pick, EJ. And we want to thank you guys for hanging out in the chat with us and everyone that's listening.
We got some dope people in the chat.
Yeah, it's been a good one. And so what could make this better? We're going to be listening to another pick by our very special guest, Phil Chorney, right after this. Go.
So this next pick is something I had to put in here because this artist changed the course and trajectory of my appreciation, love of music. It's a reason why I am where I am today musically in the business, what I'm passionate about. So this is John Prine, his song Paradise, with arguably kind of the next iteration of this particular genre of Americana, folk, whatever you want to call it, with Sturgill Simpson. I mean, there isn't a voice today, maybe Brandy Carlisle, maybe Tyler Childers, who have the same, voice in music as Sturgill Simpson. And rest in peace, John Prine. I cried the day you died, during COVID. I luckily got to meet him at the Grammys in 2020, I guess, that year, 21, whatever the codes.
Wow.
I got to tell him.
Nice.
I literally walked down the red carpet with John Prine, and I got to tell him how much, well, he was in a wheelchair, but I got to tell him how much his music and what he did for music and songwriting changed my life. And to this day, I think till the day I die, that'll be my number one experience in music, with music, about music, for music. So, I can tell you more. I can talk about John Prine I could do an entire show on Prine, but you got to hear this song. This is a classic song covered by everyone.
All right. Strong words from Phil Chorney, creator of Charm City Bluegrass Festival and CEO of Baltimore Management Agency. We're here listening to Sturgill Simpson and John Prine from their 1971 album, John Prine. But actually, this song was them doing together at the Grammys, or it's like a Grammy party. We're here listening to Paradise right here on Galaxy Jams Reacts.
When I was a child, my family would travel down to western Kentucky, where my parents were born. There's a backwards old town that's often remembered so many times that my memories are worn. Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River, where paradise lay. I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train is holiday away. Well, sometimes we travel right down the Green River to the abandoned old prison down by Adrian Hill, where the air smelled like snakes and we'd shoot with our pistol, but empty pop bottles was all that we killed. Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River, where paradise lay. I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train is holiday way.
You can just see where this song is from. You can see the scene that he's created.
Yeah, he's not just singing a song, he's like literally weaving a whole universe.
I mean, this could be your town, this could be my town, this could be your cousin's town, your aunt's town.
And then the coal company came with the world's largest shovel, where they tortured the timber and they stripped all the land. They dug for their coal till the land was forsaken, and then they wrote it all down as a progress of man. And Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River, where paradise lay. I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train is holiday away. When I die, let my ashes float down the Green River. Let my soul roll on up to the Rochester Dam. I'll be halfway to heaven with paradise.
It's awesome. You can really tell like how important this
away
is.
from wherever I am. Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River, where paradise lay. I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train's holiday way. Mr. Peabody's coal train is holiday way. Mr. Peabody's coal train is holiday away.
Wow.
Oh my God, I just got like the biggest wave of goosebumps
Oh,
after
yeah.
hearing that.
That just makes me just feel like hot summer afternoon in North Carolina when I was a kid. Just that scene, seeing that and that feeling you get from that, and just the rawness of his delivery of that song, and with the just simplicity of another harmony and the two guitars playing together, no other instruments, just raw John Prine. That was great.
It's like go
I was
ahead.
gonna say I don't know if you're I was gonna say I don't know if you're familiar with Prine, but he had some throat cancer back in early 90s, I believe, mid 90s, and he didn't know if he's gonna be able to ever like sing again, because John's voice, if you listen to recordings and some older videos of him, it's so distinct, it's so incredibly unique. But the fact that he can still deliver that song after that, I mean, I got teared up. It takes me back to a very, very specific place in my life, and John's been a part of that for, I don't know, 25 years. I don't know, how old am I? Almost 40. So yeah, almost 25 years.
Wow.
Nice. We got some great feedback in the chat. EJ, can you scroll up just so we can see? So Julian Marquette said that the guitars are sounding really good and the harmonies are perfect with the lyrics that they're about the deep USA. I think I understand what bluegrass is about.
Well, for an artist like this, at this point in their career, like a performance like this is almost like a last will and testament. It's like he's leaving us a piece of his life and a piece of his legacy through that robust, sincere, raw storytelling, and it's literally like being passed on to us in like this really powerful way that we get to hold on something meaningful from like this very robust world that we haven't experienced. And I don't know, it's a beautiful thing to see.
Who doesn't want to go home? That's like really what we all want. After all, we're all chasing the familiar and the comfortable. And in the song, John asks for his ashes to be dispersed in the Green River, and after his death in 2020, that wish was fulfilled. Wow. So Phil, you actually have a great artist named Chris Jacobs who's doing a tribute to John Prine, a whole set at Charm City Bluegrass Festival.
Wow.
So how'd that happen? Did you suggest that to him, or was it a collaborative effort? Or
It's something I've wanted to do for a very long time, and I asked Chris to do it, and he didn't even hesitate. He knows my passion for John. I mean, even from some of the earliest Chris days when he was in the Bridge and he would do acoustic show here at this cafe, and I was this young little 15, 16-year-old. But Chris, play Legal Smile. Chris, play whatever. And I know a lot of musicians feel the same way I feel about John. That I can call him John. I mean, not that I'm on a first name basis with him, but I'm going to. He makes you want that kind of a relationship with his music. And a lot of musicians feel the same way. I mean, he is the best American songwriter. I mean, Bob Dylan said he was his favorite American songwriter, right? So, and that's coming from freaking Bob Dylan, right? Like,
wow.
Arguably, the most successful American songwriter. So there's a very real emotional state. So anyway, I asked Chris to do it, and he didn't even hesitate. And I haven't heard any of the previews for it yet. I haven't asked to. I don't want to. I can't wait to see what Chris does with it. The only thing I know is that he's asked about some of the other musicians who will be at the festival that he wants to collaborate with on this very, very special set. So I'm just in the dark as everyone else, and it's probably been the most commented set of the festival that we've released. This is what people are most excited about in many ways.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of collaboration at the Charm City Bluegrass Festival, so it's really cool. The more that we're doing this show, the more that I see how much the lineup, how personal it is to you, and that's what I think it's all about, right? Like when you go to a show, it's like an extension of the people that create it, like what they like and what they're all about, And my favorite festivals, I know the people that run it like on a first name basis, because I'm not like, I'm going to Camp Barefoot Festival, right? I'm like, oh, I know Scott McLean, the guy that throws it. Like, yeah, I know him, right? And so that's why I feel like when people go to Charm City Bluegrass Festival, not only is it a celebration of, Baltimore and Maryland, and not only is it a celebration of, the music, but it's also a celebration of your hard work and, your passion for music and for life. And I feel like people really feel strongly about it, especially since you guys are on the 10th year.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's wild. It's my mind's constantly blown by that.
What is the date of the festival this year?
May 5th and 6th, and it's at Union Craft Brewing in Baltimore, Maryland, which is actually, so this is our 10th anniversary. Our first festival was in 2013 at the original parking lot of the original Union Craft Brewing, and they've since moved locations. And for our 10th year, we thought how apropos to bring the festival to their brewery again.
That's
Nice.
great.
Yeah.
That's great. It's always nice having that infrastructure at a festival too, of a brewery.
Yeah. That's Penny Lane in the background. If you guys want to meet Penny Lane.
Sure.
Nice. Yeah, we
Always.
want to meet your dog. Let's do it.
All right, 1 second. Let me grab her.
Yeah, no. I always want to meet doggies.
Dog's like, I don't want to go on camera.
Yeah, I'm like, well, you don't matter anymore. What I want.
No
matters.
choice. You came in the room.
Yeah, you barked once, so.
There's Penny.
Oh, there's
Oh.
Penny. Oh my God, I have a dog that looks similar. Oh wait, no, not really. Well, yeah, kind
Well,
of. Looks like a little.
Oh my
I
goodness.
have a little brown cute dog too.
Very
This
sweet.
is Penny. She's a 13-year-old cockapoo
Aw.
who's blind and deaf at this point, but
Aw.
she is. She's been through thick or thin with us, and she is probably barking at me because my wife's actually out at a show to go see Yam Yam at the 8x10, and my kids are probably upstairs sleeping. So she's probably barking at me because she probably wants something.
Nice,
So there's that. That's always fun.
That's
So
how that
I'm
goes.
gonna kick her out of. Yeah, I'm gonna go kick her out of the. If you guys don't mind, I'm gonna let her out the back door that I have here in my office, and we keep moving on. That way
Yeah.
she can go
All right.
do what she's got to do.
All right.
Yeah,
give me a sec.
Hey, if you guys are in the chat, let us know if you have any pets, and why don't you tell us their names and what they're all about.
Hell yeah.
I love doggies and
Spice
and
up the chat.
kitties.
Yeah, anybody got dogs or cats
Yeah.
or other pets out there?
Iguanas.
Yeah, speaking of
large
food,
snakes,
we
bearded
tarantulas.
we love pets. Speaking of food. Oh God, that's so funny. Hey,
So,
everyone that's
hopefully-
watching, you guys are so great.
Yeah, y'all are.
Hopefully she comes back to my back door. Fingers crossed. So we'll see. If I hear some barking, I might have to run and go let her in real quick.
Nice. So at the Charm City Bluegrass Festival, you guys have the headliners are the infamous String Dusters. So how did you first hear of the infamous String Dusters? How did that come into Phil Chorney's world?
I was working at the 8x10, which is a legendary club here in Baltimore.
I love
at
Abigail.
College. Yeah, she's the best. Abigail and Brian are our family. But I was working that show. It probably as a barback or something, and the Dusters came in. This was probably 2008, maybe, something like that. 2007. I can't remember. It all kind of blends together. But they came in, and there was these dudes who were shredding acoustic music. I mean, they were playing bluegrass, but it was so pristine and clean. But it wasn't traditional. It was new and fresh, and that was the birth, in my opinion, in a lot of ways. Like I had been a Yonder fan for a long time in college and whatnot, but that was the next progression of that. And I'm a huge Yonder fan to this day, but Dusters took what Yonder was doing with the progressive jamgrass and brought it back into its kind of clean, traditional is not the right word, but a clean form of it. And it's very pristine and precise, is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, I always think that, especially like fiddle players and like good like bluegrass bands, when they're going fast, it's like it reminds me of like speed metal almost. Like
Oh
the
yeah,
way that they're
absolutely.
like shredding.
Mhm.
You know what I mean, on guitar. It's like unbelievable, and I think it's so underrated. Like people that are big like math rock or heavy metal or like like speed metal fans. Like I think they'd get a lot out of all of the music and the way that bluegrass is. It's.
yeah.
Pretty. It's pretty
I mean, some of the best
unbelievable.
guitar players in bluegrass, and some of the best fiddle players in bluegrass, and some of the best,
I mean, they're monsters. Absolutely.
yeah, fast fingers, especially banjo players, amazing.
Yeah.
And it's one thing about bluegrass music that I absolutely love is just the music, the musicianship that they produce and that they can pull off, and all the harmonies and everything too. It's just a really great package all wrapped up in one when it comes down to it.
Yeah, exactly. And then also they're all able to sing like the whole time while they're laying it down. Like there's usually like tons of singing in bluegrass music, so that's really hard to pull off.
And over the years, the Dusters have had some, obviously Noah Pikelny was in the band, and he is, one of the best banjo players in the world. He's now with Punch Brothers. But you have, you had Chris Eldridge was also in the band. Actually, I can't remember no one. I think he was. But Chris was the original guitar player. He's now with the Punch Brothers. And Chris actually was at my first ever Charm City Bluegrass Festival 10 years ago with Tony Trischka, who was the headliner that year. And here he is returning, 10 years later. He actually came the following year as well with Noah Pikelny and Jerry Douglas band. So that was kind of cool too. Now that I think back on it, all kind of blends together. So anyway, Dusters will be there. It's very exciting. We tried it, and they were actually the band we were supposed to have headline in 2020 when the pandemic hit, and we had to cancel.
Well, that's cool that they were still available to be able to play the next year, and I know that we all can't wait for that. And so we're here with Phil Chorney of the Charm City Bluegrass Festival, listening to the 2017 album Undercover Volume 2. This is the infamous String Dusters doing a cover of The Cure. We're listening to Just Like Heaven right here on Galaxy Jams Reacts.
Yeah.
There we
Let's go.
Nice and fast.
Look at that
Oh,
carpet right
yeah,
there.
it looks like a skating rink or something.
Yes.
Bowling alley or a skating rink, yeah.
Their shoe game is on point.
Yeah, in this genre, you gotta have the look.
I feel like I've heard this.
Yeah.
It's a Cure cover.
Yeah, there's my fiddle.
This is how to roller skating rink. They called it.
Show me how you do that trick. The one that makes me scream, she said. The one that makes me laugh, she said.
That fiddle player, he's doing something called chopping right now, where he's using the bow for percussion. It's like something only bluegrass people really do.
I promise that I'll run away with you.
I misspoke earlier too. Noah Pikelny was not in the Dusters. He was in Leftover Salmon. But Jesse Cobb was the original mandolin player in the band.
They're spinning on that dizzy edge.
Jeremy, their fiddle player, was our artist at large last year at the festival, and also the judge of the Charm City Bluegrass crab cake eating competition.
Hell yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's dope.
Yummy.
I made him eat 2 crab cakes on Instagram. It was fun to watch.
I'd like to eat 2 crab cakes.
That I'm in love with you. You, soft and lonely. You, lost and lonely. You, strange as angels, dancing in the deepest oceans, twisting in the water. You're just like a dream. You're just like a dream.
This is such a great take. That trick's hard to do on skates.
Daylight licked me into shade. I must have been asleep
4:20 on the
for
clock.
days.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
To breathe her name.
Perfection.
Let's see. Let's
Found
go.
myself alone, 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 above a raging sea that stole the only girl I loved and drowned her deep inside of me. You,
Yeah, get it.
soft and lonely. You, lost and lonely. You, just like heaven.
I love that song.
Yeah, there's the breakdown.
Nice. See, shredding.
Yes.
Jeremy's a beast. That was Annabelle. Did you see that, guys?
Yeah, I was about to say, is that Annabelle Lukens?
Yeah, it is.
Nice.
Who doesn't love a good slide part?
plays a Beard guitar, which is made here in Maryland, actually. Those Dobros are some of the best ones out there, and Beard cones are like legendary.
Hell yeah.
Lost and lonely, you, just like
We know how y'all Baltimore and Maryland folks are. You gotta represent hard.
Oh, dude, we are so proud of Baltimore. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean,
man.
it's cliche at this point. My one of my
Nice.
best friends, big in my fraternity, he'll be in my wedding party and come up this year. I'm sure he's going to show up with the Baltimore tie, the Baltimore sunglasses, the Baltimore belt,
The Oriole tattoo.
all of that, and he'll probably bring his own shaker of Old Bay. It's going to be great. I can't wait.
Yeah, Annabelle Lucas was in that.
Yeah.
She was dancing, and that was great. I was about to say that right before you said that.
Yeah, we had her on our show like 3 days ago.
Yeah, it was
That's
like last
awesome.
week.
3-4 days ago. Yeah. So also the infamous String Dusters in 2018, they won the Grammy Award for Best Bluegrass Album. That's amazing, and I really liked it. I thought it was a great take on a great song,
Oh,
and
yeah.
again, like I like that I talked so much about the fast string playing of these types of bands because they really brought it out and gave us a nice little shred at the end, which I really appreciated, and thought the video was cool, and I can't wait to check them out at the Charm City Bluegrass Festival. I know they're going to bring the house down and probably have a lot of cool special guests with them and things like that.
Yep.
It'd be great. Who's your artist at large this year? You mentioned that the fiddle player was the artist at large before.
So we have Allie Crowell from formerly Yonder Mountain String Band, and Cornmeal is coming in to bring her fiddle, and then Chris Laquette. If you don't know Chris, he was in Frank Sullivan and Dirty Kitchen, but he is like, when I think of young, shreddy, flat-picking guitar players, I think of Billy Strings, Chris Laquette, and Trey Hensley. Like, I put them, and Jake Workman, and probably Cody Kilby. Like, those to me are like the top 5 under, let's call it 50. Chris is ridiculous. He's a great musician, great human, good baseball player. Chris, give you the shout out for the unemployed Brooklyn musicians baseball league that founded during COVID. They all started playing baseball, and I play baseball, so it's like a thing.
Nice.
That's cool.
Very cool.
Man, like I said, the more that we're doing the show, the more that I can truly, truly see, how much you really care. Like, even like when we're listening to like Chris Jacobs, you're like, oh, I've been listening to his music for forever. And it's like only someone that's like so ingrained, in the roots of the area and the people and the talent that's there can pull off, a 10-year show, which as it is like so hard to do anyway, right? So kudos to you, especially able to get the headliner that you were going to. It's great that you're able to get a repeat of something that we all can't wait for and some greatness to come.
Absolutely.
Thanks. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm really excited.
All right, so we're getting close to the end of our show. So I know you got a festival coming up and you have a bunch of bands that you're managing, but is there anything coming up in the world of Phil Chorney that's especially exciting that you want to share with us here today?
Yeah, so I signed up for my first ever race. I'm going to run a 10K trail run in October. I've never run. I'm not a runner. I used to hate running, and it's changed my life. Running has become something I crave, and it's pretty wild, this journey I'm on with it. So really excited about that, and to see, what's next after that. But that's pretty big and exciting. And to see what else. Going on a 49 or 52-day cross-country trip with the family again. We did the same thing last summer, doing some new places. Take the RV, work from the road, help with some music festivals, and travel the country and get my kids to see all the national parks that
How do you plan that itinerary?
We take a look at based around music festivals that I'm either involved with or for some business reason I need to be at or whatever, and then we just pick the route and pick the national parks along the way, and I drive for a couple hours each day, and I'm literally on the phone the entire ride, making phone calls, and my wife is on my laptop, typing my emails and notes and doing the business, and the kids get to watch their pads, and then we get to a national park, we go for a hike, and we check out bison and wolves and antelope and whatever it is, and they get to see this world and this country more than just the view of Baltimore and maybe the East Coast, and they get to see and meet people from all over and experience different things. To me, I think that's living, and that's there's something to be said for that.
That's a valuable.
Phil Chorney, can you adopt me?
Sure.
That sounds amazing. It's like honestly like my dream come true to like get an RV and just go from like event to an event, and then like you can check out like different national parks. So that's so cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that you have a great and special time with you and your family during that. And, we really appreciate you being here with us today. Thank you so much. We hope that you had
Thank
a good
you.
time on the show and listening to music together with us.
I had a blast. This was a lot of fun.
All right. Well, I want to do a good job and thank every single person that's in the chat with us, checking us out live right now. I want to thank every person that's listening to this on YouTube, on the podcast, or wherever you get your Galaxy Jams. Want to do the best job of thanking my great friend and co-host, EJ.
Oh, thank you.
Want to do a good job of thanking my great friend and co-host, Adam.
You the bestest, Bay.
Want to do the best job of thanking myself. And then I want to thank our very special guest, Phil Chorney. Thanks
Yeah.
again so much for being here. Wishing you the very, very best of luck on your upcoming festival and all your future endeavors.
We appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys, and thanks for doing what you do, giving a voice to different people in the business across all spectrums and letting them, explain their musical journey through listening to music with you guys.
When you see a band play a big show, a lot of people aren't seeing the entire team that is there also. And I think in some ways, the industry professionals are also the real rock stars. People just see for example, oh, my favorite band's playing at the venue near me, but they don't see the booking agent that negotiated that. They don't see the manager that, got the artwork lined up, and they don't see all of that, and they only see the end tip of the iceberg result. And so I think that it's so important, for people to be able to, to have industry professionals like yourself, humanized, the ones that's in the trenches every day, making it all happen and making everyone's favorite musical experiences come true.
And
right?
Absolutely.
And something that I didn't even think until right as you're saying this is being on our side of the music industry and the sides that we've been, just seeing the real faces and real people and knowing it's achievable for you. You can work in the music industry and look at all these charming, fun, exciting people like Phil that do this work, and you can one day be in that seat too if and you don't have to go get a desk job working and selling something that you don't believe in. That's a really cool thing for me.
All right. Well, thanks again, everyone, for being here. We will see you right here on the next episode of Galaxy Jams
Yeah.
Reacts. See you then.
Virtual fist pump.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Explode.